All right, people. Today on Who the F? We're talking about who the F was Alan Ameche, the Iron Horse, the Baltimore battering ram, or the Baltimore bulldozer. That's what I go with. What if I told you one of the toughest running backs in NFL history retired at 27 years old and still ranks among the greatest players in Colts franchise history 66 years later? The legendary Iron Horse, Alan Ameche. Standing at 6 foot, 220 pounds, he was built like a battering ram. And this was long before modern power backs. He punished defenders. Went right through them. Treated them like shattered glass. At the University of Wisconsin, Ameche became a college football star. In '54, he won the Heisman Trophy, gaining over 1,200 yards and becoming Wisconsin's first Heisman Trophy winner. And this is at a time when players played two positions, so he was also an outstanding linebacker for the Badgers. Ameche was selected in the first round, second overall in the 1955 draft. It was that year he started all 12 games and won NFL Rookie of the Year. He would go on to have 4 Pro Bowls in his career under his belt. And he helped lead the Colts to 2 NFL championships, becoming one of the most feared runners in football. His greatest moment came in the '58 championship game against the New York Giants, which later became called the greatest game ever played. And it was him in sudden death, overtime. He was handed the ball on the goal line, and Ameche won the game for the Baltimore Colts. When we talk about his athleticism, just watching him and determining in today's game, he would run approximately about a 4.8. For a fullback, that's not bad. But remember, it would be faster if he was raised in today's world. A lot of people think these players couldn't play today, they weren't athletic enough. Wrong. And the reason I say that, because if they grew up today, they'd be going through the modern sports interventions, medicines, training, supplements. It would be no different. They would grow up on these things just like today's players do. His strengths: pure power, balance, toughness, durability, and an incredible ability to move the chains when everybody in the stadium knew he was getting the damn ball. A weakness: he just didn't have elite breakaway speed compared to today's modern running backs. But again, he was a fullback. This was a time when the fullback was incorporated, not just the blocking, which he was a great blocker, but pound the ball up the middle, 4 yards in a cloud of dust, and he was a great receiver out of the backfield. And despite only playing 6 seasons in an era with just 12-game schedules, he still finished 66 years later, 9th in Colts franchise career rushing yards at 4,045. 9th in rushing yards per game at 57.8. And 6th in touchdowns with 44 rushing touchdowns. And he accomplished this way before the NFL expanded to the 16-game schedules, which they did in 1978. Now they play 17. Then you got to remember, a year after his retirement in 1960, they switched to 14-game schedules, which went all the way on until 1978 when they switched to 16. Unfortunately, he was only 27 years old when he retired, and this was because of injuries, specifically his Achilles tendon. And again, medicine ain't what it is back then today. You got torn Achilles, helmet and shoulder pads on the shelf. Peace. Game over. Tragically, at 55 years old, Alan Ameche, the legend, the fullback, the Baltimore battering ram, the Iron Horse, passed away due to a heart attack. But his legacy lives on. Heisman Trophy winner, champion 2 times, and a Colts legend. And one of the toughest players who ever carried the ball, who ever blocked for the Colts in the backfield. He wasn't just called the Iron Horse. He earned it. Yes, sir.